Hello and welcome to my next tutorial where I'm going to be talking about the Z choker. The Z choker kind of has like two things that I usually follow it up with. One of which is flashier but way harder. So that's the Z choker to Icepick. A Z choker to Icepick. Close. There we go. That's a Z choker to Icepick. I'm sorry if that doesn't appear on camera. It's hard to like record and do it at the same time, especially if I'm looking through the camera. So that's a Z choker to Icepick. But a Z choker, what you can also do is you can go into a Z choker and hold it here, and then you can go to other things like a twirl or like a Z choker to, I guess kind of like a whip rollover. So yeah, let's start with the Z choker part first. First, you're holding it kind of in the Icepick grip, but also sort of in this pen style. What you do is you're holding it like maybe an inch from the pivots, and you're holding it between your thumb and index finger. Next, you're going to use your middle finger, and you're going to do kind of like a ladder. So you're pressing it down with your, so it's like this, and sorry. Then you're going to bring your ring finger down like this. So now you're holding it between your middle and ring finger. So again, start with thumb and index, middle, ring. All right, next from here, we're going to use our index finger. And this is the tricky part. We're going to use our index finger. We're going to drop the bite side. And we're going to kind of do what we learned with the choker fan previously. And use our index and middle finger to like roll it as we twist it. And we're going to also turn our palm downward. So that's a lot. I know it's a lot. But here's the fixed ladder. This is kind of the first step. Fixed ladder. This. Here we go. And then we're going to use our index and middle and rotate like this. So as we turn our palm downward. So now we should have it like this. This is technically the completion of the Z choker, but it's a little awkward. The first time I started learning Z choker, and honestly still now, I find myself a lot of times towards the end. You actually kind of want to be up towards the pivots if you want to be a clean, well, I mean a cleaner escape out of that. Yeah. So if you want, you can try and slide as you're rolling. Slide like it upward as best as you can if you want to do a Z choker to a like twirl. It's also possible to over rotate. That's fine. The hardest part though is just getting from the fixed ladder. First there's the fixed ladder, this part, and then doing the choker fan to here. And if you can get to here, you're great. It's a little trickier, it's a little bit more finesse to try and hike yourself up towards the pivot from down here. It's like a little bit of rotating and trying to like use gravity to like slide it up here. Like if you're up here, that's still really good. And you can just go into a twirl. That's my favorite way of closing. But you also have other options. Again, like whip rollover. If you're, let's see here, yeah, you're in this position, you can just do a lot of things. You can also just flick it back and close it like so, if you want to just close that trick. Okay, how do I explain the Icepick part? Z choker to Icepick involves going from here, and essentially in slow motion, you rotate more as you let go, and you want to catch it in the Icepick position. Like so. But it's honestly so hard to teach, and it's so hard to do. Like I don't have slow motion. Yeah, as you're kind of like here, that last part, you have to use the momentum to keep it going, and as you let go, it's really hard to do while looking through the camera. Wow, and it's hard to do like in a clear way. Unfortunately, I don't really have like an easier way to explain than to just Aikyo, I love you, than to just kind of see if I can like launch it upwards. If you launch it upwards, you kind of have more airtime. Well, yeah, it's tricky. Again, this one's really hard to teach, but eventually, yeah, you want to be able to catch it like that. Holy shit, that was a really cool one. If you also don't really want to like, I feel like go too far. You're almost like here. It's almost like you're still touching the Balisong as you're like letting go and like, oh geez, like oh crap. I think it's also easier if you're like higher up towards like the pivots, like if you're up here, instead of all the way down towards the ends of the balisong. But that's a little harder. There you go. Yeah. So if you're starting higher up towards the pivot and you let it rip from here, you have a little bit more control. Whereas at the very end, it's kind of like, there it is. Yeah, it's hard to say. So hopefully if you're watching this at slow motion, at the very end, as you're like from this point here, let's see if I can, here, like from here, you're doing that last part and then you just turning your palm up. So the choker fan part and then catching. Sorry. Yeah, and I kind of also like, I let it go and I slam, like at the last part, I choker fan and then I like choker fan into the palm grab. Choker fan into the palm grab. At least that's, I hope that's helpful. It's really cool. It's really tricky. If you get frustrated with the Icepick part, trust me, it was really hard for me to learn too. But definitely at least learn how to do the choker fan into, you know, into the twirl or whatever. And that should give you some really cool options, especially if you're in an Icepick grip. You can just kind of shift your hands into the pen grip and then just go straight into that fixed ladder. Fixed ladders don't need to go into Z chokers, but like, it's really cool. Let's be honest, it's really cool. And some people can just, you know, you just keep going like that. And that's, yeah, that's the Z choker. So if you found this tutorial helpful, please let me know. I find this was a really hard trick to teach. And give it a like, subscribe, comment your thoughts or something like that. If you have any other ideas of how to get out of a Z choker or anything else you could do with them. And share with your friends. Have a great one. Sorry to stitch this at the very end, but I just remembered a really important thing about the Z choker is that when you're doing it, you want to pull your arm upwards as you're doing the Z choker. At least if you're going to go to the Icepick catch. From here, you don't need to pull it up, but if you want to do the Icepick catch, you want to pull your hands up so that it gives a vertical, like it basically makes the knife go up. And if you bring your hands up and then down, in a catch, you should hopefully be able to do that. Again, it is also dependent on other things, like the higher up you start on the Z choker, like here, opposed to like all the way over here, you have more control. Well, that was just really bad, but yeah, pull up. Thanks.